If you like what you're seeing and hearing, please consider subscribing to the podcast. You can go to either Apple iTunes, the Google Play Store, Spotify, or Amazon Music in the podcast section. It'll hit Monday morning or Sunday afternoon, depending on when it posts. And the video will hit on YouTube and Spotify Monday. Spotify will hit Monday evening, and YouTube it'll hit Monday morning, 7 a.m., just like it does for the audio services. So please go to those places and consider subscribing or listening to the show. You can also write to me at gwgpodfellows@gmail.com if you want to write me a letter. Let me know what you think of the show, things like that. Or you can also find me on Twitter at JustLittleJoe. So go to those places and please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks. And with that, we'll get on to the episode. So Christian, you and I work together.
What up?
What's up? Mm-hmm. In passing, we always have to say, hey, what are you playing? Try this out, whatever. And then we have to leave each other quickly because there's cameras at work and we don't want to get in trouble.
That's the truth.
So my question to you is, and I don't know this, when did you ever have a come to Jesus moment when it came to gaming? You know, something that you picked up the controller and said, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. Was there something like that happened to you? Some game or a system like a N64?
Well, no, with me it was like so a small little detail about me is I moved up here from Panama.
Whoa.
Down there, my first system was the Super Nintendo. So when I moved up here, you know, the language barrier, you know what I mean?
Oh,
was hard to pick up. So I always had video games there.
Oh, yeah.
To fall back on or to keep me up, or you know what I mean? I'm having a bad day. Video games were always there. Mm-hmm. Even later on with like breakups or friendships not being friends anymore. You know, like video games were always there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think I ever had like a come to Jesus moment, want to do this for my life, because back then, if you remember, there wasn't this kind of stuff, this platform.
Oh yeah.
To think to like, oh, I want to do this. Like, don't get me wrong, I wanted to do it, but I didn't think this possibility until maybe like 2013, 2014, when like YouTube was really like up.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, you know, I'm much older than you, but I remember it was like the recess discussion of, there was all these old wives' tales about if you stand in this corner and crouched, you know, there's all these weird things in games, you know, like that was kind of like the community back then, was everybody at school of like, you're not playing Mega Man 2, or you're not playing Street Fighter, or like, you know, I mean I went over to my friend's house. He had a Super Nintendo and he had like 4 games. Street Fighter 2 was one of them. He had like he had 2 or 3 like Turbo Edition. And you know, it's bad when you sit down and he says, okay, you tell me who you want me to be and I'll beat you. That's terrible. He owned the game. He had like 4 games, you know, so that's what you did, is you played what you had. You know, what did you have? So you had a Super Nintendo. What games did you have?
For the Super Nintendo, I had Killer Instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Super Mario.
That one hurt my wrist, playing Killer Instinct. I remember even back in the day when you're like 14, you're like, do I have carpal tunnel already? Like, you're playing Killer Instinct, trying to do those combo breakers and stuff. You're like, this hurts. My thumb hurts.
But the thing is, if you remember, because some of the fighter games now don't have the length in combo.
No.
Like back in the day.
No, because Killer Instinct, couldn't you get like a 64-part combo or something? Yeah.
If you started it and if you knew how to do it just right, you could just demolish your opponent from the beginning.
Yeah. No, I was... Yeah, well, I was on the receiving end, you know. Again, it was on the N64, came over to a friend's house. They said, sit down. I go, oh, yeah, I played this in the arcade. I got beat there, too. They said, sit down. They just ran over me. I would just remember sitting there going, I don't know if this game is fun or not. Like, they're just doing I got the 128 or whatever. You know, they're like, I got to 32 or... Yeah, and you're just sitting there like, can we play something else? You know, like, very much like... Yeah. What about... Did you have, like, like sleepovers and stuff where everybody would come over and you'd be like, hey, we're playing. Like, I know Smash Bros. On Nintendo 64 was big. It was on the. No, it was on the 64. I'm trying to think because I did that too, where we'd have sleepovers and we just play like Smash Bros. All night or whatever, or we play Star Fox or something like that.
I had something similar to that, but it wasn't until like years later.
Oh, right.
PlayStation 1 came out.
Yeah.
Funny story actually. So back in the day, there was a thing called Blockbusters in Hollywood Video. Movies, video games.
Yeah.
So
We have to educate the children that like there was you had to go somewhere to get games. It was terrible. Yeah.
well, it was the equivalent of the Red Box, I guess. Right now, so, but no one really wants to go over and get it.
No, because people are staring at you when you're at that gas station. You're like, who are you? Who are you?
The funny story was, so my buddy, my long-term friendship, Jake, him back in the day, we found out, and it's so messed up, but we found out that you can rent the game and then just play it, right? So one time, the game didn't work. We tried everything to get the game to work, and this is what we found out. We took it back, and we were like, yo, this game won't load up. We're like, what can we do? And the guy tried it and tried it and tried it, and then just gave us a new one to, make us happy.
Yeah.
And on the walk home, we were like, yo, what if we took the whole night to beat this one game and then take it back and get another one? Listen, man, we took one Saturday.
I like where this is going.
To beat at least 4 games a day. Because we sweat. Back in the day, it was like literally story, and then it gave you just a straight shot, no open world. This is the direction you're going.
Yeah. Well, that was the secret to those old games. Is as kids, we would just get our teeth kicked in. But if you sat down now and played it, it's like, oh, that was an hour. One of my favorite games that took me weeks to play, you can beat it in 4.5 hours. But it took me like weeks as a kid to like figure stuff out. So like if you and your friend are like running, you know what I mean? Like filled up on energy drinks and sugar and just like going through the games. Do you remember what 4 games it was that you went through?
It was, I remember before the shooting game Apex, there was this racing one. The racing Apex. You started from street racing, and then you ended up like on Formula One, and from Formula One you went to NASCAR.
Was it on the PlayStation 1?
No, that one was on, I believe, the Xbox 360.
Oh, okay.
Not the Xbox 360, the regular Xbox.
Xbox. Yeah, the OG Xbox. Yeah.
And then
Was that Burnout? Was that Burnout at all?
no, it was literally just called Apex.
Apex. That's cool. That's a cool name.
One of the other ones I remember,
So
Spyro.
I didn't play. Yeah. They remastered that. I was thinking of picking it up to I had a PlayStation, but you only had, again, you're on a budget, you have a few games. I never played Spyro, but I was like, that looks fun, but I never played it. So
I was a big fan growing up with Spyro.
yeah.
It was like, actually, once you really think about it, it was my first kind of a taste to a semi-open world game. I think.
Yeah, because I remember those environments. You run around you're trying to find stuff too. It's like collectibles. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go find this thing. Yeah. What?
I never really thought about it until right now.
Was it? So you said there was 4. Was that was 2? Do you remember the other 2 that you did?
The other one was this game called Stuntman.
I remember the cover for Stuntman. I remember the cover. I don't think I ever played Stuntman, but I remember the cover for that one.
Playing Stuntman, just doing missions for the movie. That was a pretty cool one. And the last one, Ape Escape.
Ape Escape's it's on that PlayStation. Yeah.
PlayStation. That was
It's on the new PlayStation Premium tier if you want to go back and be nostalgic, but they'll charge you to play that. Yeah, so I was like, I'll try Ape. No, I saw the price of the tier of their subscription services. Like, I'm not doing that. But yeah. So was that like Friday through Sunday? You did those 4 games where you just.
Oh, that was really. We thought it was longer.
Right.
We went on a Saturday, and by 5 o'clock we already done beat the back in the day when they would make a game,
Yeah.
whole thing is in the game. No DLC.
Right.
No
Yeah.
bro, we just ran straight through.
And there was sometimes hidden levels, but you had to know somebody who knew somebody that knew how to get him or something or find him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This day, so I recently, my wife actually bought me a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And I'm buying the games that, I grew up with. And I'm now finding a lot of secret levels on Super Mario that I never knew of.
Yeah, that was one thing when my wife and I got together. She was a big Super Mario World thing, and she's like, "I'll show you all the secrets." That's kind of like how we started dating and everything was. And I played it, and all my platforming skills have left me. So she laughed the whole time I tried to play. I was dying. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't play platformers anymore. It's gone. Whatever I had before when I was a teenager, all my skills are gone. It's totally that's it. I don't know."
I can't play a shooter game with a controller anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Like, I have a gaming PC, and I keep looking at, oh, it's on PC now. Okay, cool. Because controllers, it seems like, I don't know. There's tons of, I guess it's preference. I do like the ability to sit on my couch, though, and play a game, which I could do with my PC, I guess, if I had a long enough HDMI cable. So what are you, so we were talking about PC. Do you have a preferred platform now? I see the PS5 next to you. Do you like playing on PS5 or do you play on Xbox or?
I have the PlayStation because, like I said, the language barrier.
Oh.
Look, if something happened where I landed being like super duper famous, I would have literally tried to make a deal with PlayStation because of what PlayStation did for me growing up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like, I came up here knowing Spanish. You know what I mean? Like,
did they have better language options, the PlayStation, than the Xbox? Like they had.
It wasn't about having language options. It was about giving a young kid something to do when he had no friends. I mean, like, bro, I lost myself in a game, and at the end of the day, it's crazy to say, but certain games help me pick the language up.
Oh right, no, I mean it. Yeah, I mean you play just through osmosis when you play games that take place in Japan, and they localize them. You pick stuff up through kind of like gaming. Just like osmosis, kind of like it just kind of leaking into your brain. And a lot of people, yeah, and a lot of people say that about music sometimes is if they listen to songs in another language, they start picking stuff up or whatever, But yeah, I mean, you could probably speak to it more than I can, but I've heard especially PlayStations were easy to modify. So there was a big like underground scene with like if things were too expensive in other countries, people would just pirate stuff because it was like $1 or whatever, and it was easy to do with the PlayStation, So not only was it inexpensive, but it was easy to get a hold of too. So I mean, that's what my whole podcast is about. Is like people in my life. It's more about mental health because people in my life passed away that I cared about, and when I play a game and they're like so and so died, and then that's all they mention in the game, that ain't it, bro. That's not. I mean, I want to have better conversations about just everything in games, but yeah, I mean they. Yeah, I mean it's what the PlayStation 2 is like the best selling console in the world. It's sold around the world. I mean, you probably had one. Again, they were probably easier to get. And just the modding community I've heard is insane. So, I mean, so growing up, you didn't have a lot of friends or anything to like. So you just kind of like sit down and be like, this is what I'm doing for, this weekend or whatever, or I'm playing Spyro again because I don't have. What were the games that made you like pick up the language? What are the ones that you think really helped you? Like you said, you picked up the language through games. Which do any games stick out as the ones that made you say, "Oh, this is."
There's one. Oh, in Panama, there was a show I used to love watching called Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, and I mean religiously.
Yeah.
Over and over again, right? So when I moved up here, you didn't even know there were games. You know what I mean? There was like so many different games. What I liked about that game is the game was basically the show. It's just you took over fighting scenes. I started being like, I know what he's saying there because I watched the show. They try to make it as close to the show as possible. So I'm like, oh, so that's what that means. That's what that means. That's what he's saying. So Dragon Ball Z, Tenkaichi 3, all of them basically were the ones that stood out the most for me growing up. Now, like the one game that changed my viewing on games and really made me fall in love with games came years later with Skyrim.
That was a big one. That's a big one. Luckily, my girlfriend, my now wife, understands that we both game, because we would not be together if she did not understand gaming, because she bought it for me and that's what I did. She would come over, I'd be just like this. You know, she'd see the side of my head so much when we started dating, because that game is amazing. You know, it's crazy.
That game took me. The story, side missions, the map.
Did you complete the main story mission in that game? I actually did. I know a lot of people are like, no, there's a main story. I'm like, yeah, there's a main narrative.
Even to this day, I go back and re-download it and replay it and go through my favorite side missions, side stories. That game will forever. Dude, like from 2014 to like 2017, I stopped playing video games for a while because no one really wanted to play with them. I'm very competitive, so I play sports games with my buddies. And no one wanted to play because, you know, I'm running through them. I'm beating them.
They're like,
playing for a while.
You make us feel bad. That's
it's better.
Yeah.
I picked it back up.
You know, years ago when it came out, my friend, you could look at people's profile. We were playing on Xbox, and I said, "Hey, it says here in your profile you're like 5 achievements away from getting all the achievements." And I go, "You gonna go back and get the achievements?" And he said, "No, man, I was like married to that game. I can't go back. We broke up. I can't do it." And I started laughing so hard. I was like, "You spent like 100 hours." He's like, "I know." He's like, he said, "Yeah." He said that. He goes, I go, "When did you play?" Because, like, you know, we played different stuff like Call of Duty and stuff together. I was like, "When were you playing?" He's like, I blacked out. It's like, you just, like, next thing I know, I got another 10 hours in Skyrim, you know? And I was like, I get it. I totally get, you know, that. But, yeah, that was the game. You know, they remastered it and they added, I remember getting they came out with that first round of DLC for it. It was like Dawn something, like Dawn Trader or something, where the Dawn Guard, you like went after vampires, and I did that mission, and then you could like adopt kids and build a home, and I just went after the vampires like immediately. And my favorite thing in Skyrim is when someone's in the middle of a monologue and you kill them. So usually they'll do like that camera pull-out thing, and they'll take a knee and it shows you swinging a weapon or whatever, and you know, you just keep hitting them until they fall over. It would always be in the middle of them giving a monologue, especially the vampires, where they'd be like, "I will," you know, and then they'd go to do a monologue of like, "I will crush you," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, what was that? You're dead," you know, because you get the crossbow. I got the crossbow, and it was so fun, and it reminded me, it took me back to playing the original game of, you know, Here I Go.
That what I really liked about Skyrim was the bow.
Yeah.
Listen, I was legless. Before then, I never played anything with like where the bullet drops.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. So you'd have to aim up if someone was far away. Yeah. You'd have to take into account the drop of the arrow. Yeah.
Exactly, bro. And that small little detail in that game hooked me.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, "Oh, he's right there. And I missed." And I was like, "No, what?" And I like games that make you adapt and try to get better at it.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's rarely any more games that do that now.
Do you... Well, I mean, it depends on... Do you just play, like... I saw you playing Apex Legends before this. Do you do shooters now, or do you... What about, like, you know, Baldur's Gate 3 just came out. It's more of a strategy game where you have to coordinate. You know, you're controlling a team, and you have to... You know, you can independently control team members, but you have to... Like, when combat happens, you have to approach combat in a different way. Is that kind of up your alley, something like that, or is that not really anything that you're interested in?
I also play Starfield, but that game right now has, when I'm playing it, it overloads my brain. There's so much to do.
Oh yeah. You're like, where do I go? What do I do?
Exactly. And on top of that, you're going out of space.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Not only on land, thinking, oh my goodness, what do I do? When you're in space, you're, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Now that
Play Apex because of the abilities. You know Call of Duty.
yeah, yeah.
You grab the gun and you kill. Now Apex, sure, it's similar, but every character has ability. And while every character has their ability and their abilities stay the same, bro, listen, the person that's playing that is not the same.
Right. Right.
So what I like about Apex is when you're playing with two different people you know nothing about, just like trying to get everyone to jail in order to, because it's easy to play with your buddies. You already know how they play.
Yeah, you know it. Yeah, you know what they're gonna do. You know where they're gonna go. You know, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the fun to adapt to how others react to like just a semi-stressful situation. And I use stressful situation lightly because playing the game isn't stressful, but when you're like in a fight, to watch how someone's gonna react and then you have to react in a productive way.
Right.
To help whoever it is you're playing with.
Yeah.
That's why I like Apex. Everyone doesn't play the same.
Do you get thrown into like random lobbies with people? Is that what you do? Of like, yeah, okay, that's good. And have you ever hit some? Right. Have you ever hit someone? Have you hit someone up after a match and said, "Hey, good game. Like, can I add you or whatever? Like that was awesome. Yeah, that's awesome."
Always. If look, I'm not a pro, but I know what it is that you have to do in order to win.
Yeah.
So when I play with someone that knows that, and you can just like, bro, yeah, I'll send them play for a while.
By the way, as someone who's very terrible at first-person shooters, I have a good time. I have got hit up, I think, like twice or three times with like, hey, that was a great game. I'm going to add you as a friend. That warms my heart so much where I was like, I didn't drag you down. I didn't drag you down enough to know that like we can be friends now online. And every time I see them, I'm like, oh, yeah, that one afternoon was fun. But, I hope that I hope that they continue to enjoy me, as a person. I don't know. It just was so like that. You're doing the gamer god's work by sending out invites saying, "Hey, you did a good job." So what about? So I have so you're playing Apex and you're playing Starfield. Are those the two newest games you're playing right now? Or is there anything else you're playing? Oh, you got posters?
So on the PC, I'm playing the Star Wars, the new one that just came out, the Jedi Survivor.
Do you like it? Is it good? I haven't played it yet. I
like it.
I played the Fallen Order and it was I played it on PS5 and it was very buggy. And then I heard they didn't really fix it that much. I was like reading threads.
Might be for me.
I don't know. I had a bad. It was terrible because my wife bought it for like a birthday gift, and that first weekend it was just like crashing. I was falling through the environments, and I was like, I can't with this game. I can't. And I feel bad. She's like, how is it? Because it was like a gift, And I was like, it was good. It was, like yeah, right now I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm a big nerd. I play D&D. So having a digital version. I mean, if you like tactical games, it's hard. If you don't like that kind of like strategic whatever, but you're very competitive. So I could see you recruit people in your party that have different skill sets, and if you're deficient in one way, you can recruit someone that's like a good mage that can cast really good spells. You could be a healer, or you could find a good healer, and then later on you have the ability to change everybody's skills out and stuff like that. So if you don't like what they're doing, you can like min-max that way. But if you don't like that kind of game, it's very difficult to recommend because sometimes combat is slow. Sometimes you will die. You'll have to, it'll load you right. Like they don't have an autosave. So last night I was playing, I lost like an hour's worth of progress because I beat this incredibly tough combat thing, didn't save, went to the next combat thing and died. and it kicked me an hour in the past when I was like at camp, waking up with all my healing items. Like, what just happened? Oh no! That's when I logged out last night. I was like, no. And then my wife goes, "Are you coming to bed already?" I was like, "Yeah," because I lost an hour's worth of progress. So this morning, I woke up and played it again and beat it and did better, and so I was able to. But yeah, I mean, do you ever go out of like your gaming comfort zone like you do Apex Legends? Is there a game that you see that like you mentioned fighting games. What about the new Mortal Kombat? You know, back in the day, you said you played. Do you still play fighting games, or are they too intimidating? Like me, I just see that stuff and I'm like, I'm literally just throwing money in a drain at that point. Like, you know,
I felt what you just said. I felt the exact same thing when I bought Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Oh yeah, that came out a couple years ago, right? Yeah, that came out. Yeah.
I say that because, like I told you, when I came up here, I played every Dragon Ball Z game, right?
So you probably saw it, advert. Yeah, you probably saw it and were like, I'm day one. Like, where's the pre-order bonus? Yeah, I'm in it.
And then I got it. And what really threw me was I was able to go further in the story in the games I played way back in the day.
Oh.
Kakarot stopped me like so early, and they were like, "Oh, you gotta wait for the DLC." And bro, like that pissed me off because I was like, "Bro, how am I gonna be 12 years old playing a game that went further?"
Right.
A game that comes out now with all the technology. You're telling me?
Yeah, because wasn't that a retelling of like one of the arcs in the anime? So like they were like, hey, we're going to redo this arc. You can play through the arc or whatever. And then people got excited. But then like I heard kind of like months later, people were like, but it's done. You know, like I wanted more type thing. And so, I mean, have they, like you said, there was DLC. Have you played the DLC or were after you got burned that first time where you're like, I'm done.
It bothered me so much that I have
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you almost killed a part of my childhood doing that. So I can't. I won't allow games to do that to me because that's so wrong, bro. Like, that, to me, I get it. Games
Well,
some people say it's childish, but like when you really think about it, bro, games are such a great way to like relieve your stress or nostalgia or to keep a part of yourself inside. So I felt when they did that, they did not care about their community.
right. Well, like talking to you, you connected with it. You were young. I mean, it helped you learn a language. It's what you did. You had a deep nostalgic connection to it. And for them, like you said, seeming not to care, that's almost like they're in a way they're not trying, but it's almost like they're hurting your childhood in a way. Yeah.
That's all they want, bro.
Yeah.
Like I love Apex. I play it all the time. It's free. How it's still making more money than all these games that you have to pay for. Why? They're always coming out with new things, new ideas, new skins, new this that you have to pay for. That's where games are starting to head towards now. Ways they're not thinking creatively as like, oh, how can we make it better for this community? They're just thinking, how can we make a base game that we can eventually keep improving? And these improvements they have to pay for.
Well, some of it too is like, to be nice to the developers. Some of it too is like the higher ups, right? The developers have a vision for their game, but maybe the the corporation is like, listen, we got stock options. You gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta do. What are you doing? Yeah,
Because you guys are like us. How can we make this game? But at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah, and that sucks. Like, I think a lot of people are applauding Baldur's Gate 3 because Larian is in Amsterdam, and they have a big studio as well as like satellite studios, and they're not publicly traded. They're not on the stock market. You can't get stock options, and they said to put microtransactions in the game would kind of it wouldn't be the game they wanted to make. And so, everything that's in Baldur's Gate, I mean, you could play it. My friend's playing it. He put 120 hours in. He's playing it again. And you can do that without spending money on microtransactions. It's, I think, $70. That's the total price. They said they may come out with DLC later, but right now they're just, patching the game and stuff. It's only been out like a month or two. And so, actually about a month. So, what?
A good game that was amazing and perfect. Elden Ring.
It was great. It was one of those I love from Software. In fact, I'm probably going to stream some in a few months. I'm debating. I never platinumed. I have on PlayStation. I haven't platinumed, and I want to go through and platinum each game. Because they did Demon Souls remastered. The Dark Souls trilogy is there, and I want to do Elden Ring. That's the last one I did. Sekiro. I played Bloodborne. I just haven't platinumed. So Elden Ring is one of those games. My wife, who when I play a From Software game, a Souls game, she comes in, watches me for 5 minutes, and says, "Nope. No, and walks out. She was playing Elden Ring, and she was like, this stupid Marrakech boss, and she beat him, and she was like, that was so great. And I was like, that's what it is. That's what it is right there. That's why I like him. You get that one moment of everything clicks. You beat a boss, and you think, life doesn't get any better than this. And that was my wife, and tons. I even did a podcast about it because people I knew that weren't even playing From Software games were playing Elden Ring. Where you're like, it did it. It brought us all together. It brought all the gamers together. It brought everybody together. Yeah.
What I like is how difficult some of the bosses were.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I like.
Yeah. Did you platinum it, or would you put in? Yeah, it's rough. I heard there's like 7 endings. Someone told me, but I think you only to get a platinum you got to get 3 of the 7. And my
One more.
Go ahead.
Really good game.
Yep.
Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Rookie, the reason why I really like that game is because, as you know, you're a gamer. You know in games whoever has the most health wins. You just hack and slash.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Has the most health wins. Whoever
Right.
has the most strength wins. Whoever can do the most damage. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what I liked about Kingdom Come Deliverance is they gave it a mechanism to where you have to block. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sword and shield. You have to block, parry, attack.
Yeah.
Come in. Well, it was.
Did you ever try From Honor, that Ubisoft game where they had a similar system where it was basically 3 factions vying for control, and they, yeah.
I got it, but I never got the chance to like.
Well, they have a similar mechanic where you have to, when you see it coming in, you get like a reticle on your screen. It'll show like a over arrow, so you have to hit over with the toggle to try to block them and stuff. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, it's more reactive, like you said. Than, oh, I have more health. I just have to wait for them to hit me, and then I can hit them, and I'm good. You really have to try to parry their blow or whatever. It's not as easy as like those other games. I definitely think I'm going to try it this weekend sometime. There's another game I'm playing for review for the pod, but maybe I'll eke out some. And I'm also playing D&D tomorrow with some friends. So that's going to take about 4 hours of my life, it's going to be fun. But you got to plan for that stuff, So, Christian, please tell people where they can go to find your YouTube channel, Twitch, all that kind of stuff. Promote yourself. This is your time to promote it all.
You can go to Expert Swami. Find me on YouTube.
Yep, I'll spell that in the description too. So.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, Expert Swami on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram.
Ooh.
Follow and subscribe.
Yeah.